You guys ready?
Always ready.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to another episode of MProper Mimi, where we talk about empowering women at home, work, and play. And today I have two guests with me, and we're going to talk about what it feels like when we're playing with our podcasts. So I have two great members with me from the Black Podcasters Association. We'll let you both introduce yourselves. I mean, that's okay, Corey. You know, it's all improper here. So cheers. Happy birthday to Mimi.
Cheers. Happy
Hey,
birthday.
Happy birthday, Mimi.
yes, woohoo. And these are just, vitamin waters. We're
Yes,
trying to keep
vitamin.
everything very on the up and up.
That's
But
right.
yes, I have with me Corey and as well Raphael. So thank you guys for being
Oh,
here.
definitely. Couldn't miss this.
It's an honor to be here.
Actually, it's an honor for me to be here because Raphael was so gracious to have me into his studio today. So we're just, slumming it with my homies. So actually, why don't you guys tell me a little bit? Well, we'll let Corey go last. So Raphael, tell me how you got involved with the Black Podcasters Association.
Well, I was roaming on the internet streets one day, and Corey found me and just hijacked me or kidnapped me or
He
something.
kidnapped,
like that.
yes, he
Yeah.
kidnaps a lot.
Nigerian style.
There's a lot of kidnapping.
His family didn't want to give up the money, so I kept them.
So you kept him.
They still won't give up the money. They still won't. I don't think my family will pay for anything. I mean, somebody will collect money in my family, and that person won't be heard from anymore. So I'll go marry a new wife or something. Their sweetheart.
Yes.
But yeah, I was the Black Podcasters Association is one of the best things to happen to me. I was technically done with Facebook groups, and I don't know. I think that day I was just roaming around the Facebook streets, and I don't usually take recommendations seriously on Facebook. And I saw Black Podcasters Association, and I was like, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? I don't know. Because all the Facebook groups I've seen for podcasters are, what's your put your podcast here and I'll give you 5 stars. You do that and then it's just spam. You just keep getting. So I was like, man.
So what was different about Black Podcasters Association?
I said, well, let me try it. I tried for 24 hours and see, what's the worst that will happen? I'll bounce out immediately.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, 2 years later, I'm here. I've been to Afros and Audio Festival in person, thanks to BPA, and made new friends. I've collaborated with a whole bunch of members, and hey, it's one of the best things that happened to me in my podcasting career. So
you learned a lot.
I've encouraged many people to join, people who are on their beginning of podcasting, people who have already been podcasting, and no matter where you are in your podcasting career, I keep telling people like this is one of the best things to join. Even those who are overseas, I keep talking to them like, hey, don't think it's only for Americans.
Yeah.
There's room for you here. There's room for all of us. So come join, check it out. And you'll benefit like I have done, like I'm still doing. So yeah. So it's just helped me in my growth. It's helped me to embrace myself even more. And I hope that it will do the same for everybody.
Excellent. Yes. I mean, I definitely, when I found Black Podcast Association, I really found it to be a lot of information, a lot of people sharing their experiences, and just even exposing me and letting me know that there's other people out here doing the same thing that we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And so, yes, that there's other people out here doing exactly what we're doing. And it just, encouraged me to keep at it.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they only start and they may not finish. They may do like 5 episodes and they'll be like, I'm done. I can't keep doing it. I can't edit. I can't get any listeners or anything like that. So I found a lot of information, from the group that was like, oh, okay, yeah, let me try this or try that. And like you said, collaborations. And so Mr. Gumbs, what's up? Hey, Corey. So yes, sir. Tell me.
I'm Corey Gumbs. I'm the founder of the Black Podcasters
The
Association.
founder.
The founder.
And truthfully, I wouldn't be here we wouldn't be where we're at without like the work that Mimi has done behind the scenes, even with the stuff that Raphael has done. So I gotta give you guys your flowers because you guys make the community. It wouldn't be a community without y'all. It would just be me talking to myself. So
Yeah.
funny story though. I almost didn't admit Raphael into the group because
Two
I saw
first
this thing that
names?
said white
Suspicious.
label American, and I was like, and it was around that time, like Trump stuff going on, and I was just like, and he didn't have a profile photo, so I was like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, let me ask him who this is, because I was like, this.
Did you give him the black card test?
Yes, basically. But I'm the founder of the Black Podcasters Association, which started as a Facebook group, and Mimi and Raphael and a bunch of other people joined, and you guys helped shape the community, and then we decided to go private, and it's just been fun ever since. And we're working on some things before I got here, so. But it's been a great, and I got to credit you and Afrika. I always tell a story like
I love it.
I wouldn't be doing these. I wouldn't be doing these interviews and live streams and talking publicly if it wasn't for that time you and Afrika clowned me for when I was like, I got to be behind the scenes. And it's like, no, Corey, you got to be in the forefront. So I'm always indebted to you for that.
Well,
and other things as well.
Well, thank you for letting us kick your butt and, encouraging you to step out there.
Brooklyn kicked his butt, by the way.
A Brooklyn transplant, no less.
But still Brooklyn.
That's right. Still credit. Brooklyn all day, every day. That's right. Excellent. Well, as you guys can already tell, these are not the voices of our typical guests. Usually we have women and we're talking about things that empower women. But I think, a lot of the things that help us to share and expose our voices, we have a lot of supporters out there. And those supporters are Black men. They could be white men. They could be white women. They could be Filipinos. They could be Spanish, from many different areas. We really form this village to help us to grow and to encourage each other along the way. So I would love to ask you guys, when you think of empowering women, hopefully you have some strong women figures in your life, who kind of comes to mind of who you, that's your heart. That's who you would, go to bat for. Like, these are the women that have kind of shaped your, vision of women, Hopefully y'all have some positive, role models.
I got mommy issues. I'm like Anakin.
It could have been, you're
turning into a Skywalker.
Anakin, you're breaking my
heart. For me, listen, it's too many to name. I mean, my mom was a single mom for most of my life, so she taught me and my sisters to be independent, and she was going to school, working, and so we had, being the oldest, I had to cover a lot of the weight. But I had my older cousins. I have some of my best friends are women, so I get a lot of different perspectives from them. So I mean, it's just a lot of women have come in and out of my life that have played big roles. My grandmother was very strong and independent. Didn't really know my father's side, but I did know some things of her. I had some experience, so she was even like a strong woman, and she's done a lot, in Puerto Rico. So, I just come from that vein. But I gotta, some of my best friends have been like really there through the thick and thin, and the ups and downs and the crazy moments of my life. So they've been a big help. But my mom, my cousins, my sisters, my grandmothers. It's just like, and I think that's why, like, you, Afrika, a lot of the women in the community as well. Like, y'all have been some of the biggest components on helping the BPA move as far as it has. So, and that's why I champion it. That's why we try to do like the women's history thing, and I have some other things in the works that I want to start doing. But those, it's just funny. I'm like. Like that, asking me that question, I realized like how many women actually have influence over the things that I do.
That's right. That's right.
We don't always agree, and we bump heads a lot, but they do have influence. So I can't deny that.
Yeah. And a lot of times, there's nothing wrong with bumping heads. It's,
Yeah.
hopefully it's out of love or out of hoping to see someone grow, that you can, either chastise them or clown
Oh,
them in
definitely.
a loving
It
way,
definitely is in my part, because the stuff that I
Yeah.
put some of these people through, the fact that they still around, it has to be love.
It's like, damn it, I really want to see you do better, but I'd give you one more chance before that's it.
Yeah, and they give me another chance. So
Yes. Women, sometimes we can be, I tell people a lot of times, especially last year, I got to find a new word for 2024, but right now it's been boundaries for 2023. So as much as we want to, love on people and help other people, we also have to like look at ourselves and protect ourselves and what it is that we're trying to achieve.
yeah.
And so, I've been telling people boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. But yeah, there are a lot of times where you might give people 2, 3 chances because you can see that potential in them and you really want them to reach that next level, so you really try to encourage them and
I'll be
so
crossing boundaries.
yeah.
I'm a habitual boundary stepper.
He's the hot stepper. Yes. All right, Raphael.
Yeah. So, I'm a big believer in, the past accounts for the present and the future.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, um, my mom is in a complicated space when it comes to me because she's a big hero to my people, um, my tribe back home in Nigeria. And, um, as a kid, she was a hero, but as an adult, it's different. For
Yes.
some reasons that I won't go into right now. But I'm still proud of a lot of things that she did for our people, even though she will never benefit from it. She will never reap the rewards due to
Mm,
how the system works, just how we are, which
mhm,
is unfortunate. If she was a man, it would be different. So it's one of the things that shaped me in my life, and it's something that I've learned from. But when it comes to figures that inspired me, even without, like we were talking about before we began recording, a lot of things happened that I wasn't of the maturity to really understand or
mm,
appreciate when it was happening back then. So I think, like the person who I even give the title of father figure in my life is still my late aunt, and I wish she were alive in this time
mm,
because there are conversations that I would have with her today
mhm.
because things are a lot different now. She's the strongest person that I've known in my life, like among men and women. Physical strength, she's the strongest. And there's a stereotype that I now understand why it exists about women from my village back home in my part of Nigeria. It's claimed that our women like to fight,
Mm,
like physical fight, and it's the way of tagging them as stubborn
mhm.
and tough, but the fighting is also used as like, oh, you don't want to marry a woman from here. That if you marry her, this is the trouble that she
Yeah.
comes with. This is the baggage that she comes with.
Mhm,
But saying, anytime I think of my late aunt and recalling the struggles that she went through, she never got formal education, but
mm,
she made sure her kids got educated. She was the first wife of her husband, her late husband now late husband, and
mhm.
she never had. It took a while for her to have kids,
Yeah.
and the pressure of not having kids, it's always the woman's fault. So
Mhm.
they went and got a second wife for the husband,
Yeah.
who started having children.
Yeah.
And of course, that woman starts getting all the favorable treatment and all that.
Mhm.
And she went about her business, and her children eventually came, 2 kids, my 2 cousins. And
Nice.
she made sure they were taken care of because
Mhm.
they were no longer favorable. They were no
They're
longer
number 1.
favored, even though she's the first wife, which means
Mhm.
they should be the system. They should be no, they should come first. But she had to use her own money to
Take care
spend,
of them.
make sure they got educated, do everything, because the dad is like this, the second wife's kids, get everything. They're in the same house, by the way. But
Yeah.
it's the
Wow.
older I get, I start understanding these things.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, for some reason, I was like one of our favorite nephews. And anytime I came to visit,
Uh-huh.
my favorite food to eat back then was black eyed peas.
I like
And
black eyed peas.
yeah, we just call it beans back home. But yeah, so yeah, for the audience to know, it's black eyed peas. And she called them by my native, my traditional name, Layefa, or, and she would just, what do you want
She'd
to
always
eat? If
make
I
them
said I
for
wanted to
you.
eat that all day, that's all I'm getting. And I didn't understand. I thought, everybody had the same amount of money like my mom did.
Yeah.
She would make it happen. She knew I didn't like eating fresh fish,
Mm-hmm.
like most of our people. So my food didn't have that,
Yeah.
which was going out of her way to make it happen. But she was one of the first people to actually show me affection, unlike most of the family, because for an Ijaw boy to not be eating fish,
That's a problem.
I still remember the insults that I got as a child,
Mm-hmm.
because people were making fun of me and saying I'm not a real Ijaw.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's a reason for them calling me not real. And it hurt a lot back then, but she was one of the people to shield me from that.
Nice.
And I still didn't get it back then, because you still want to be tough and, I can do it myself. But she always shielded me.
She
And
gave
with
you a
time,
safe place to be yourself.
I will see that even an uncle who had some mental health issues, there's a reason why he always went to her. Like if he was acting up, acting out, and she showed up, he calmed down. Because she wasn't like yelling at him. She'd be like, what would you like to talk about?
Yeah.
And he said, I remember one time he said he wanted to convert from Christianity to Islam. And she said, okay. Well, the whole family, everybody's like, how dare you? This man had schizophrenia or something which hadn't been diagnosed back then.
Yeah.
And you are busy shouting at him, yelling at him, throwing stuff at him. She was the first person to have that mind to be like, let him speak.
Yeah.
Let him just say what he wants to say. And within like 10 minutes, he wasn't yelling at anybody there, but people wanted to go. So one time he would pick up machete to, like, he wants to fight the whole family. And people didn't get it, that just let the guy be.
He's just sick.
Let him be. And she treated him. And when he figured it out that, okay, I don't want to be a Muslim anymore, he wants to be something else, she was like, okay, come talk to me. And so he even when they wanted to take him to hospital for treatment, he said if she doesn't come with him, he won't take any medication, he won't listen to any doctors. She had to come. They had to go get her from Lagos because we didn't live in Lagos, so she would come.
Yeah.
And that was the only time. So there were traits of leadership that she exhibited. Yeah. She showed a whole lot of, what she was showing us. And we had somebody who was a major general in the family. And we were ruled by the military, which is why I don't listen to people online who shout Africa should be led by the military. I'm like, this woman exhibited powerful leadership back then. And yes, I saw her lift the man up and slam the man one time when he overstepped. Yeah, if he overstepped, she would beat him. But
I don't gotta fight.
But she was a calming presence, and people listened to her when she spoke, and she didn't have to yell, but she could switch to that too if you needed. If you needed that, she could do that. But I think with time, I started copying her without even realizing it. That, like when I would eventually get into the Navy, and I would think that, it's because I met Americans, and this is how I started copying leadership. I think she had been inspiring me from a long time. Wow. Because I never had a physical strength. Her son was the person who had that strength because he's way bigger than I am.
Yeah.
He had his mother's size. So yeah, he had that physicality. But I never was that huge. But people always shared stories with me. People opened up to me. So I got something from her. Yeah. And when I always sat down with her and I spoke with her, there were times when she would be like, okay, Layefa, but maybe you should have done this instead of that. But she never was like, you're stupid, you're mad. But
she got that from you to be person. Who you are.
Yeah.
She let you be your own person.
So It pains me that she
Mm.
passed away before I left Nigeria, and it's a circumstance of our unfortunate situation of poor healthcare.
Mm.
If we had the rights, if she shouldn't have died when
Right.
she did,
Yeah.
and there was just poor treatment. And I wish I was at the. I wish she was alive to at least. I would have brought her to America. She was one
Yeah.
person I would have moved mountains to bring. So, um, if I'm gonna put somebody at number one, that's the woman I'll put at number one.
Mhm.
My Navy mama, somebody who I will always cherish. I didn't understand what that woman was doing for me in the Navy, and I was I had to fight with a black woman being my boss. I just had to challenge you all the time. Yeah, um, it
But she
was.
It's a
She is the
bliss.
reason why I have my Navy Marine Achievement Medal. She is the
Mhm.
reason why I have a whole lot of accolades that I got. And she fought. She was fighting the fight that I understand, the whole politics in the military. I understand it, and
Yeah.
she did such a great job that after she left, they couldn't scratch my name out of the records. People tried.
I'm sure they did. Yeah.
They tried, but
Mhm.
she had done the paperwork so well that
Mhm.
nobody could take my name out, and I got everything that she had made sure I was going to get.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew, because my supervisor didn't get what he was supposed to get, because he was relying on the person who was ahead of her
Mhm.
to take care of him, and that person dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Every other person who was relying on someone else, the ball got dropped, and I saw the reaction. I was like, dang, I'm not going to get anything. Now I'm
Mhm.
seeing other people losing out, and I'm like, who's going to take care of me now? And when my name was announced, when they called me like, hey,
Mhm.
get ready, award ceremony, you're
Yeah.
getting an award. I'm like, what? This command where they hate people like me?
Yeah.
So,
And it's those type of situations where even behind the scenes, you may
mhm.
not know, or you may not know who's in your corner and who's rooting for you. But she pretty much seems like she laid that groundwork for you to be able to get that award.
Oh, yeah.
And your aunt was a woman who was able to embrace and allow, you and your uncle and other people in the family and probably the neighborhood and the community
Oh,
itself
everybody in the
to
community.
to feel comfortable with her because she had their back as well. As we get ready to wrap up, I mean, I love that question because it really tells us a lot about, the importance that Black women play in our families and in the shaping of us and in our lives.
Hmm.
I think often, it's my birthday, so of course, congratulations to my mom for birthing me because it's also
Hey.
her birthing day. But my grandmother, my maternal grandmother is a woman that, I mean, that's my heart. She had 8 kids and, God knows how many grandchildren and great grandchildren. I shouldn't know this, but I mean, I know I'm one of her favorite older granddaughters,
There you go.
That's all that
Um,
matters.
That's all that
that's
counts.
all that matters,
That's
for
right.
Crane Mother, right? But I mean, usually, you hear improper Mimi talking about, all kind of things that women go through and what we've survived. But I'm actually coming out with a new podcast, and it's going to be The Legacy of DeeDee.
Hey.
So DeeDee's my grandmother,
All
and
right.
she's one woman that I really have a lot of respect for, and that has really, I mean, she shaped the lives of all of 8 of her kids, and then they in turn shaped us, her grandchildren.
Mm.
And it just opens up a whole world of like our family history, her being born in the 30s and then, raising kids from the 40s all the way through like the 90s, really. So it was like really great to conversate with her and hear about what it was like for her growing up. I also talked to my aunts and uncles to hear about what it was there like from their perspective.
Yeah,
Um, who knows? Eventually, I might even have to talk to the grandkids because,
you should.
from my perspective, I called her DeeDee because she was too young to be a grandmother. But then now all these little new age millennial kids are like, grandma, great grandma. I was like, who are they talking about? You know? But, DeeDee really was a pioneer in my eyes of, a self sufficient woman. She went back to school, I think like in the 80s or 90s to get her education, to get her bachelor's degree,
Wow.
after she had all her kids and everything. So we were really proud about that. and just her characteristics and her honesty and her faith and her determination, that really played a big part, I think, in my mom's life and my life and a lot of people in the community. So just wanted,
I'm really glad to hear that.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's something I've been talking to my friends about. Like,
yeah,
sit down with your family members and just press record on your phone, or start a
absolutely,
podcast like that and
yeah,
start chronicling your family story, because it's just so many. As we're getting older,
hmm,
especially that whole early 1900s, mid 1900s
Mhm.
right,
era is, my mom's 70 something years old, so it's like it's
yeah,
disappearing,
uh-huh,
and they have so many different perspectives from a completely different world than we do,
yeah,
that we should actually just document and record and to tell these stories,
yeah.
and it's important for us to keep the legacies going.
And
I
it's so
agree on that.
important because I think a lot of times in the Black communities, we keep secrets.
Yep.
Sometimes the
There,
wrong ones.
right, exactly. Sometimes the wrong ones. I mean, sometimes families keep secrets until someone dies, and then they'll be like, "Oh, well, this happened to her." I'm like, "Oh, really?
Yep.
If you had told me, then maybe I would have avoided that, or maybe we could have made sure that our family,
Hmm.
were justified for the wrongs that were done to them." But yeah, so it's so important to not only hear our elders' stories, but even, like my mom and her siblings, like they have a whole nother perspective to this angle of who she is as a woman that I never knew. So I
Right.
loved hearing, their reactions and their to the questions that I was asking them.
I was just want to add too, like, considering the way social media and the podcast space has been going, especially in the Black community, in
Yeah.
regards to how we look at women and the relationships between men and women, and it's just polarizing thing that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Gender
We need to
wars.
have those stories to counteract it, because I tell people all the time, like, some of these things y'all saying didn't even apply to Black Americans. Like the
Right.
whole man does this, woman does that, because we were in a specific type of environment where majority of the times the women was carrying the household. The women, it
Yeah.
wasn't that they were emasculating the men, it was just the way the system was.
Yeah.
They were easily employable. They were the ones out there making the money, and the man was home doing whatever he was doing or trying to do to maintain the house. So
Yeah.
we have like this weird dynamic, and now the internet's coming in and just completely like
One size fits all.
adding this other thing. So we need those stories of the older generation and the things they went
Yeah.
through and how they raised their families and the struggles and the joys and accomplishments and all that stuff. So
Mhm.
especially from the Black woman's side, because we rarely hear those stories, and then we hear, like, no knock on them, but like the stories like Angela Davis, right?
Yeah.
We hear those stories, but we don't hear the stories of, or we get movies like Fences that kind of shows you part of it, but it's always it's like from this weird point of view instead of
Yeah.
showing like,
With all the tropes and
yeah,
everything, I've had, men tell me, "Oh, you're such a strong Black woman." And I look at them and I have an attitude because I'm like, well, it's not by choice. It's not because I wanted to, it's like these are the situations I found myself in, and I've had to react. And by any means necessary, I'm going to do what I have to do to take care of my family.
yeah.
But no, I'm not going to iron your shirt for you because, I do everything else.
So funny because my mom raised me that way. So
Hmm.
when I had girlfriends and stuff that would try to do that stuff, I'd be like, nah, I wash my own clothes. I cook my own
Hmm.
food.
Hmm.
And even one of my ex-girlfriends, she used to be like, Corey, what's your problem? Like, you don't let nobody do something. I said, why am I going to let you do something I've been doing since I was 9 years old? Like,
Yeah.
do something nice for, like, something that I would really like. I could wash. It's not that hard to wash clothes. It's not that hard to iron my shirts. It's not
Ooh.
that hard to cook a dinner,
Yeah.
And the way I am, like, I'm glad I'm cooking my own dinner, because some people be like, I'll be
You
like,
don't know what they're
man,
doing with the food.
like, what is this? You putting raisins in the
Yeah.
macaroni? Like, what?
No.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm all
Shoot.
down for experimenting and all that, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I mean, I remember. Uh, I don't think I was raised like intentionally to be the independent guy,
Mm.
because it was obviously you're a man, a woman has to come take care of you, blah blah blah. But it just worked out that it, I was I was put on the independent path. I think certain cracks happened in life, and I ended up on the independent side of things. And when I would run into a woman who, because I love women, good looking, and I start chatting up, and the next thing is like, oh, I got to come to your house and wash your clothes, and I'm like, that's not why I'm here talking to you.
Right.
I'm fine washing. I used to wash clothes for all the. I was the last kid. I was the youngest kid in the house, so all the women throw their clothes at me. I was washing clothes, and then I'll go out and I hear talk about, if a man washes a woman's underwear, the man is weak. They had that before the internet existed in Nigeria, and I was a kid growing up, and I was like, so what happens to all the boys like me who are the youngest kids in the house who have to wash everything
and stuff, right?
And your oldest just throws all the clothes to you, and I'm like, there's underwear in here, so you can't wash your underwear. Pow, you get a knock on your head. I'm like, okay, well, that's the last time I asked that question. So I washed all that. And so when a woman was like offering, I want to come wash all your clothes, I'm like, no, let me first, before you qualify to touch my clothes, I already have this way of washing my clothes. Let me first get to know you before, you have to hit a certain criteria before,
I don't even got time to wait.
So no, I wasn't. I wasn't. That wasn't the criteria for me. That come cook for me. I mean, if you cook, I will eat the food. But I wasn't dying. I remember my chief, one of my chiefs when I was in the Middle East, back in the Navy, says to me one day, was like, because they called me by the last name, Harry. You need a good woman. But if that woman don't cook, man, she can't. If a woman don't cook, she can't be with me. And I was thinking, one of my best friends, she can't cook.
Well, hold on, because my ex-wife used to cook. I would cook too, but she would cook. I ain't gonna lie. You got somebody who could help you carry that, and you could eat the food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got something good going on.
I get it, but I remember when I started cooking, and because I was forced to learn how to cook as a boy. You would just play, and one day they call you, come in. Start slicing the onions, tomatoes, and I'm like, okay, can I go back to playing? Like, no, you don't understand. You're making dinner for the whole family. That's it. That's how I was told.
You were the help.
I was like, oh,
you're the youngest. You the help.
Now, if the food don't taste good, I'm getting a beating. So the food better taste good at the same time. So yeah. But with time, when I started being on my own, and I started realized that I like cooking for myself.
Yeah.
Before I now start cooking for others, it's not about a woman coming to cook for me. Like my wife can tell you right now that I some days before I cook, and my daughter will tell me some days like, hey, I want to eat this. She knows the food. She will tell me that she wants to eat that. And she knows the food. She will tell her mama that she wants to eat. That kid already figured it out. That's how she's my child. I can't even go to Maury anymore. But which was my plan before Maury retired. But just to go on TV, that's all. It's not for any other reason.
You're terrible.
I'm still pissed.
There's other ways you can get on TV,
Exactly.
I watched that show for 2 weeks, my first 2 weeks in America.
So that was the dream. I want to be on The Price is Right. That's where I want to go.
That's not how you, if you want to become an American, that's how you watch.
You get the language and everything.
I just, I love cooking. I love being in the kitchen sometimes. It's therapy for me sometimes. I just do my dishes. I do stuff that I used to do back home, clear the dishes before I start cooking. After I finish cooking, clear the dishes again. It's a weird system. I do it, but
you're gonna start getting orders from your daughter and me then, because I don't like it, but I do it well. I just don't like cooking.
Yeah, so but there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, then you just need someone to clean up, because I don't mind cooking either, but I don't want to clean up.
But
you got to do it all at the same time as you go.
I have women friends who don't cook. Like, I have one of my best friends. She's not a great cook, and I think that made her scared of dating Nigerian men, because she was like, "Well, what?" I'm like, "Look."
Well, if he's doing well enough, he could take her out to eat.
If the man is worried about that, the man already like you. He's not into you, because the man's into you. Well, we cook.
Yeah,
we cook. I cook.
I can tell you that's probably one of the fastest ways to my heart is you can cook. So.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Well, you got to iron my clothes and shine my shoes, and that would be
I'm terrible.
really impressive.
In the Navy, I got people to iron for me.
I'm not getting my shine box.
Let me show you how good I got people to iron for me. A racist was ironing for me.
You
win.
Was that it?
You win.
And on that note, thank you both again for being here
Oh,
with me today. I
Hey,
really appreciate
I
it.
was
I
not
can't
gonna
think.
miss this.
Oh, thanks, Corey. Can't think of a better way to bring in my birthday. Hey.
You know what
hey.
I say, right? The party don't start until Mimi shows up.
Well, I
Now
say
we are
that
officially
too.
in
Yeah.
holiday season.
'Tis the season. Yes. Well, you could definitely find me at impropermimi.com. You could get on the podcast. You could, all the social medias, all improper Mimi. That's improper with the M. And yes, tell the folks how we could find you guys, how we can reach you guys as well. Like, where can we find you?
Just go to whitelabelamerican.com or you
Yes.
download the app from the Google Play Store, White Label American app on the Google Play Store. And yeah, we're also on Patreon. So yeah, for as low as $3, you can get bonus content, videos.
Right.
You can buy our merch too. It's made by a veteran, also a cool brother. So yeah, you're supporting black-owned veteran businesses. So buy our merch, and we have new designs coming out,
Nice.
new colors, everything awesome. So go get it. So keep supporting us. 5 stars, everything awesome.
Awesome. Excellent. And
I
you,
mean,
Corey?
for me, just go on any social media platform, search for the Black Podcasters Association. It's too many different handles because of
Yeah.
all the different requirements that these platforms have. But the Black
Yeah.
Podcasters Association on like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Right.
And also you can go to blackpodcastersassociation.com or getbpa.com if you're interested in learning more about what we do and joining.
Yeah. And I recommend definitely, if you're not, already following, then definitely look up these two guys, follow them, spread the word because the Black Podcasters Association is a great organization. And I'm looking forward to, the next new year. I mean, this is my new year because it's, when the sun starts to rotate around me on my birthday.
Hey,
But, I know 2024, we're going to have a lot of things planned for everybody too.
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
yes.
And if there's any ways, like if you have any ideas of how we can support women, across the board, doesn't matter. I mean, we deal with
Yeah.
Black women, but any woman, please reach out to me and let me know because I'm always looking for new ideas and new ways
Yeah.
to do so.
Definitely. I am here to help share the info. Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Yes. See you guys.